So as I watch everybody's audio and visuals connect, I want to introduce myself. My name is Judge Person. I do welcome everybody to court this morning. I'm going to probably repeat myself just a little bit until everybody's audio connects. Mr. Matson, Ms. McMahon, you were the first attorney logged in. We're going to go ahead and start that meeting between the two of you since y'all have heard my introductions before. And so let's see, Mr. Matson, Ms. McMahon, there you go. And so I do want to let you all know that when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer or a response to that accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Excuse me. Guilty means you're saying I did this. No contest means I'm not contesting the matter. And not guilty means I am contesting the matter. Ultimately, though, what it really means is the state should have to prove this case against me. Prove it is kind of the idea there. So if you plead guilty or no contest, I'm going to move that case toward sentencing. If you've already entered a plea, I'm just going to be troubleshooting that sentence. If you plead not guilty, I'm moving that case onto the pretrial docket. A meeting with Mr. Matson, who just stepped out into the meeting that he does outside of the range of hearing of me as the judge. That's to keep the process fair to both parties. And then moving that case toward trial if it's not resolved today before the close of the court time. And we're moving then to on the not guilty charges. After today, if the case is not resolved, you're coming into court briefly for a final pretrial, doing announcements and setting forms, setting bonds, setting trial. Then you're coming back for trial, but it is required, that setting, to be here. Okay, and so after today, I'll be moving that case toward that live process, okay? If you plead guilty or no contest, I'm working out a sentence with you subject to the information you've provided. And I'll just be working each person individually on what their case holds. Okay. Now, normally the rule is if you plead guilty or no contest or you're found guilty at trial, the case goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. Fines and costs can be paid within 30 days with no additional fees. After 30 days, there is a state mandated by the state of Texas. And in that instance, there's just a little bit more on top of it. It's $15. Every penny matters, of course, but a payment plan will run a little bit higher than what you might have been told by the clerk, by that $15. Another thing to talk to you about is that subject to people's ability to pay, which is why I needed the information that you've hopefully provided on the payment application in terms of sentencing. I also use it on the not guilty docket to schedule or set bond. And so we'll be working on that. And then the next thing I want to tell you is that even though normally you're found guilty and it goes on your record, there are still 4 ways to gain a dismissal directly from me as the judge. And I want to just tell you a little bit about how those work and what you have to do in order to get to those dismissal options. Mr. Matson, Ms. McMahon, if y'all will tell me where we are with regard to the speeding and the registration charge on Mohammed Ahmadi's case.
Your Honor, Ms. McMahon is going to send in proof of registration, which has been obtained. I will dismiss once I see that. And we're going to reset for final on the speeding offense so she can speak with her client.
Okay. So here's what I do is because I don't know exactly that all things are going to be resolved by then, I just schedule everything to that final pretrial date. Ms. McMahon, that's June 15th at 1:00 here in the courtroom.
Okay.
If I receive everything I need to remove it from the docket, well, I know that as an attorney, you should know what that means. So I'm not going to highlight all of that. But what I will tell you is if anything is still pending, we'll see you then. We'll send out notice. But just so you have it for your records, June 15th at 1 o'clock. Okay, ma'am?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. You're good to go without further request.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And Mr. Wolf, I'm moving you forward to that setting as well, or to that hearing. Kind of takes care of things on that attorney piece, while folks on the pretrial docket can still hear the dismissal options. Now, dismissal options are either if something can be brought up to date into compliance and the law specifies that I can do a dismissal, I'll be looking for that dismissal option for you automatically, though you're welcome to ask me questions about it. Compliance is one of the dismissal options. The second is if you have something that can be dismissed, a moving violation through a driver's safety course. One thing to understand about the driver's safety course option is you have to qualify to be in the program, and then you have to successfully complete it. Qualifying to be in that program minimally means being on time to court, having a moving violation, and not being a CDL holder. You also cannot have been to a course for a ticket dismissal in the previous 12 months, dating back from the date of the stop. If you qualify to be in that program and you want to do that program, this is what it would mean. Okay, so you would pay the court costs only. Your fine will go on hold. I'll talk more about that in a moment. You turn in your record, the right record, and you turn in the course, the right course. You get your case dismissed and your fines get waived. Now, let me talk a little bit about the money part of it. When you call a clerk and say, how much is this ticket? They give you a whole number, okay? That whole number represents fines and costs. The fines are set by the judge. The costs are set by the Texas legislature in Austin. In the driving safety course option, you pay the court costs. The fine goes on hold. And if you turn in your record and your course on time, the right record, the right course on time, you get your ticket dismissed. When that dismissal happens, I waive the fine. Okay, so you save money. It is cheaper to do the course, the record, and pay the court costs than it is to pay the whole. And we do that actually on purpose because we're trying to get people to take that course, because what we know is that that driver becomes a safer driver for a period of time here in the state. What we've done is studied that. And there's about a 12-month period where people just do a little bit better for about 12 months. I do want to ask a quick question. Person labeled Galaxy A32, could you give me your name, please? Unmute.
Isaiah Michael Morales.
Okay, Mr. Morales, good deal. I see you're on my docket today, no problem. And I'm just wanting to identify people so that I have the right file pulled. And so now I've got you properly identified, except I wrote the wrong first name. Hold on, let me fix that. Okay, and I'm going to remute you, but we'll get back to you shortly, okay?
Okay.
I'm admitting someone else with a Galaxy. That's why I wanted to go ahead and figure out your name. I have a couple of phone callers too, or at least I have one still. The phone call person ending in 254 is an area code, ending in 067. Can you unmute, please, and tell me your name? On the phone, yes. What's your name, please? So I see that you've unmuted, but I'm not able to tell or hear you. So you might work on
Angel.
Yes.
Angel Campos, can you hear me now?
Yes, Ms. Campos, you had actually asked to skip your hearing, but I'm glad you're on because I really do need to talk to you. So stay on, because I've got you logged in, and I will be with you shortly. Okay. And thank you. I'm glad to see you made the meeting after all, because we really do need to speak. And then Galaxy A03S, she's still connecting to audio. So let me just launch back into, I remember I did compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, The third way to gain a dismissal is with a deferred disposition. This is helpful when the others don't work, but the way that a deferred disposition works, deferred means delay, disposition means to make final. A deferred disposition means I delay making your case final. I put an order in place that gives you a blueprint, a schedule of the things you need to do to gain a dismissal. And if you do those things, then I dismiss your ticket. The trick, the other two I told you, I'm going to talk to you about them automatically, though you're welcome to ask questions. The trick with the deferred disposition is you have to request that at the time that I accept your plea, which would mean on that form that you were given that you filled out, or if you didn't know about it and therefore didn't do it, well, we'll do that today. Okay. So that's how the deferral will work. And again, the magic language, people often wonder, well, what do I say? The magic language is guilty or no contest. I'd like a deferred. If you'll listen up carefully, I'll probably do a deferred with someone here this morning, and you'll see how that works. So there's that. And then the final option for a dismissal from the judge is through teen court. And with teen court, the way that works is that it's very similar to a deferred, except that you have to be in high school or middle school. But again, you wind up with a list of things to do to gain your dismissal. And those are all designed in both the deferral and the teen court. That the goal is to try to get whatever got you here, to get that behavior to change enough that you're not here anymore. Okay. So it's kind of a correction. All right. And so then just real quickly, Galaxy A03S, let me ask you your name. If you could unmute, ma'am, red shirt, and let me know your full name, please.
Erica Ruiz Corona.
Thank you, Ms. Corona. Ms. Corona, actually, I want to let you know, I did review your file earlier, and I waived your fines and costs due to the circumstances that you proved to me. And so that is concluding your case with the court. I'm zeroing out your balance today based on your circumstances. You are good to go, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for providing the information and staying patient.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, and so moving right along, I just wanted to start talking to Jonathan Golovin. Golovin, if you could unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you this morning?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good, thank you for asking.
Yes, ma'am.
I did get your information, and there was a request for teen court. The offense is a speeding charge with fines and costs of $254, and you requested the dismissal option of teen court, which I will grant. I did receive proof of your diploma, but because even though you graduated, at the time that you were stopped, you were in school. And so I still can utilize teen court as an option. With teen court, there's a $20 fee. Can I get that fee paid today in cash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you're 17, or are you 18 now?
I'm 17.
Just a few days away. You're
Yes,
about to be 18. I see that. You'll have a driving safety course requirement, and we will actually give you information for how to find a course. When you come in to sign your teen court paperwork and pay your $20 fee, we'll also give you the information for how to find a class. And you're going to want to review it before you leave this morning, make sure you understand, because it's going to be due July 5th. It's going to be due right after the holiday. And that means the certificate turned in, not finishing the course. So when can you be here this morning?
To the court?
Yes.
I can right after this.
Okay. We should have everything at the front desk for you pretty quickly. It should only take you about 5 to 10 minutes to review that, pay the $20, get your paperwork signed, and get copies to take home with you to work on the order. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I just want to hear from you. You're committed to having your case dismissed through teen court?
Yes, ma'am.
You're willing to do all the things that I order you to do. In this case, It's just the $20 fee and a course, but the course is an online or around town 6-hour course of driving safety.
Yes,
Can you-
ma'am.
Can you manage?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. So we'll see you this morning. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. And then I'm moving forward, but before I take my next person, the Kristen Adams case with Attorney Wolf and Attorney Matson. Where are we with regard to this matter? It's a speeding charge.
Your Honor, Mr. Wolf is going to take an offer back to his client. So we'll go ahead and reset for final.
Okay. Final is June 29th at 1:00. And we will send out notices. Mr. Wolf, can we use the email that you've provided to schedule this meeting today?
That would be perfect, Judge.
We'll send that to you.
And,
And-
and brief, briefly, if I may, Judge, I have a couple of folks set on the 2:00 in-person docket tomorrow. And I have a jury trial docket call at 1:30. I was wondering, I don't want to reset them, but if it would be
We'll
okay.
take
if I was
you
a
when you
little
get
late.
We'll take you when you get here. Thank
Okay.
you for letting me know.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
Appreciate you communicating with the court.
Yes, ma'am.
You're good to exit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, I'm going to move you forward as well with Amber Griffith. And Miss Griffith, you probably noticed, well, she was here. There she is.
I am, yes.
There you are. You probably noticed that what happens is people go away to a breakout room and then they come back in. So
Okay.
we'll bring you back in, or you'll click back in. It kind of depends on the technology.
Okay,
But we'll have you back in before you exit the meeting today.
okay.
Mr. Matson will meet you in that breakout room. Okay. And moving, that should take her right on over. And then
Thank you,
moving, thank you, sir. Moving forward, I would like to speak next with Jesse Hernandez. And good morning, Mr. Hernandez. How are you today?
Good morning, good, and you?
Fine. Just getting everything lined up. Give me 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so yes, I did review everything. I've got a couple of issues, and how old are you at this time?
13 years old.
Right, and you have a parent with you in the room?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is the parent?
My dad.
His father, Jesse Hernandez.
Okay, are you junior or two?
I'm junior. He's the third.
Okay. Your dad. And so I just was going to let y'all know now, we emailed some paperwork to you, Jesse the third. So I'm just going to refer to you as Jesse, and I'm going to refer to Dad as Mr. Hernandez. And that way everybody knows who I'm talking to. I did receive your information with your request for teen court. I'm inclined to accept it. I do want to, and I also received your enrollment information. And then what I'm looking for is we emailed information to you. Juvenile forms were sent May 26th, and then a family relationship form was emailed the next day. And I just want to walk you through. I don't have those printed up. So unless they're printed with signatures, I need them printed with.
What he had
Always.
the second email I had received, ma'am. It had the family like the family relation.
Yeah.
Disregard the ones that I had just previously got before, and I don't think we filled out the other ones. I just filled out the family involvement one.
Yeah, I'm trying to just get those back.
And
So-
I sent it back with the signatures and
Just-
everything.
Just a moment, and let me ask you, when did you send them?
Let me get my phone.
Saturday. So we found them. They were emailed on the weekend and we just got them this morning. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to figure out if that's really this kid's signature. Let's see. All right. So I've got some of the information back. Let me take a quick look at it. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to just multitask for a moment. And Ms. Griffith, Mr. Matson, this is a charge. Just pause, Mr. Hernandez, stay right there. The speeding charge on the Griffith case, Amber Griffith, Mr. Matson, where are we with regard to that matter?
Your Honor, Ms. Griffith has requested trial, so we'll go ahead and set for final.
Okay, Ms. Griffith, we will send that to the email that we had to set up this meeting, if that still works. It would be June 15th at 3 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am, that would be great.
Okay, so we will see you on that date. That's a relatively quick hearing, set bond, and any pretrial matters should be filed before then so that I can rule on them. Anything
May I
that
ask a quick question?
you may.
I have video evidence. How do I provide that to the court?
Well, you could email things in and see how that works, or you can bring the disc, but beyond that, I can't advise you legally.
Okay,
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
thank you. May I leave?
May leave. Mr. Matson, moving you forward with Sarah Honeycutt. And Miss Honeycutt, I know I saw you a moment ago. There we go. I know she's there. Miss Honeycutt, are you there? There we go. Moving you forward to that meeting. And thank you, ma'am. Mr. Hernandez and your dad, it would help a lot if dad could get on the screen with you. So, Mr. Honeycutt, whose signature is this one?
That is mine.
Okay, you're not the defendant, so we'll have you have your son sign that when he gets in today when y'all come in. Okay,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. It's okay. I could tell it probably was just confusion, and we'll solve that. But Mr. Honeycutt, I'm sorry, Jesse. Let me tell you that because you are related to the person, this is now constitutes what is called a family violence case. And that means that the following rights can be affected by a affirmative finding of family violence, even though you are underage. That is, any rights to own or possess a handgun or be granted a concealed handgun permit, your custody or visitation rights in the future on any children that you may have later, the basis upon which property can be ordered in a divorce. I know this must feel really strange to you because you're underage, but this can really affect long-term certain rights that you have in the future. Your employment in certain jobs, including but not limited to military service and law enforcement, the basis upon which a subsequent charge can be enhanced to a third-degree felony, and your immigration status if you are not a U.S. citizen. When you come into court, you'll be signing below where dad signed. I just drew an arrow for you, okay? So I just made a note that that was dad and that you are going to be signing because it's your case, okay? And then
No.
there'll be an X for you to sign with. The next thing will be a set of forms, which I'm going to review with you now. One, the first page has a number 1 on it. We emailed these to you, and this was emailed prior to that other form. And this one is your magistrate warnings for a juvenile. And what it basically says is you are charged with assault by contact against a family member. You have the right to hire an attorney to be present and advise you during any interviews or questioning by peace officers or attorneys that represent the state. You have the right to remain silent. If you choose to make a statement, that statement can be used against you in a court of law. And you have the right to stop any interviews or questioning by peace officers or attorneys representing the state. Do you feel like you understand basically those rights that I just talked to you about?
Yes, ma'am.
Dad, do you feel like he's understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll have you sign those when you come in to court later today, okay? The next form that you'll see when you come in has a number 2 at the very bottom. And this one basically tells you that I am wanting to confirm your address and let you know you're required to keep your address current at all times till your case is completed. The address I have, I'm not going to give the street full address because I don't like to do that over the internet, but it begins with 809. Is that a correct address for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you and Dad will both be signing that one when you come in, okay? The next one tells you that until your case is completed, you have what is called an ongoing duty to keep that address current, and failure to do so can result in an additional crime being filed or a charge being filed against you. And that one will be labeled number 3. Okay, Dad?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Jesse?
Yes, ma'am.
And then there is 2 more, okay? One real quick one that says, if you don't complete your case, whatever that means, whether that's a dismissal, payment, or something else, but getting to the point where it's either dismissed or zeroed out. And all this is true for everyone. But what I'm going to tell you here is if you don't complete your case, I can file further charges and also place a hold on your ability to get a license or renew your license, whichever is appropriate to your case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, y'all will be signing that one. That one's labeled number 4. And then the final one is
Okay.
labeled, sorry?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, the final one is labeled 5 and 6. And that one tells you under what circumstances you can have your case expunged or removed entirely from your record. Namely, when you turn 17, you can apply to the court and ask that it be removed from your record. And most of the time, that would be granted, okay? And you'll be signing that later this morning. The final form, again, is the one where you talk about, whether, but you understand this is a family violence case, okay, Jesse?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the next thing I need to do is just talk to you about your case. And I apologize for continuing to go back and forth, but sometimes the prosecutor's list takes a little longer. Not always, but I'm wanting to keep him moving. Mr. Matson, Ms. Honeycutt, where are we with regard to this matter?
Your Honor, Ms. Honeycutt will be going on a 120-day deferral,
Okay,
and she would like to make payments in installments. And I told her she could speak with you regarding dates for that.
okay. And I can look on that. I haven't looked at the financial situation. It is looking like community services can probably be the most appropriate. Ms. Honeycutt, I'll be right back with you. Mr.
Okay.
Matson, thank you. Mr. Matson, I'm going to move you forward with Joshua Velasquez. And Mr. Velasquez, I'm going to just move you to that meeting, and we'll see you back at the end. And Jesse, what I want to do is, and Ms. Honeycutt, I'll be with you shortly, but I'm going to move a little bit further in with Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Hernandez, Jesse, a couple of things, okay? One is that before I accept your plea, if you would like to have the prosecutor review the case before we proceed, that's not difficult to do. I would just schedule you to come back on a Zoom meeting for him to review and decide whether he wants to prosecute or enter into some kind of like a pre-trial diversion process with you. If you want to do that, we just hit we get everything signed today and we hit the reset button. We're going to need to do that anyway, just a little bit, because before I can do any kind of court order, I actually have to have you fingerprinted at the police department. And I have prepared an order And I will give you a copy of that when you come in. And you will actually take that over to the police department with your dad and whatever identification you have for him, Mr. Hernandez. And this is true. We do this even if the case winds up being dismissed through teen court or any other process. Okay. So y'all are actually going to come in and get rescheduled for another date and sign all this voluminous paperwork because he's a juvenile and he's underage. And so we would schedule another court date. And then Jesse, just kind of, I hate to put it this way, but slightly off the record, I did review your paperwork, okay? And I do take it seriously like you did. And I appreciate what you've said here, that you're being responsible, okay? There's a long process that we have to follow, and I do have to reschedule you. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that after we do fingerprints and get the paperwork, we can have the prosecutor review the case first. That's not a bad step to take. I don't mind scheduling that as our next date. It would be the same date anyway. And then I'm thinking once we have that review, if we are moving into sentencing, I am most likely to accept and grant your teen court request. Okay. So I want to let you know that so that you can be ready the next time. But right now, what I'm going to do is move y'all to come in this morning if possible. Mr. Hernandez, can we get here this morning, sir? Dad,
Yes, ma'am.
can we get here this morning?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Okay, and then you can take him over to the PD with that order.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then they'll do it and they'll route those prints over to us. The new state law changes require it on every single case that's filed.
It's understandable.
We'll do that and it'll go onto the pretrial for review. And then if we're moving forward with sentencing, we would be looking at the options. And that will all be for June 16th online here, just like we did today.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll see y'all at the window this morning. What time? Sorry.
About 10:30.
Perfect. That'll work great.
Yes,
See you
ma'am.
then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
I leave now?
Yes, you may. Thank you for asking.
Thank you too.
And Mr. Matson, I know that you were talking with, you're moving a little bit faster than usual, Mr. Velasquez. And then I'm going to work with Ms. Honeycutt as well, because I needed to work with Mr. Hernandez first. On the Velasquez case, where are we? Oh, is he here? Yes, there he is. Where are we with regard to this matter?
Your Honor, we will be moving to final pretrial on June 15th. Mr. Velasquez has requested trial in this case.
Okay, what time? That's fine. Mr. Velasquez, we're going to actually email that to the email that we used to set this meeting. Will that work for you? That email?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I think we're just, I'm going to say 2 o'clock. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We will see you then.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Oh, Mr. Velasquez, the clerk just told me it's 3 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you.
on that same date. Okay.
Have a great day.
Yes, sir. Mr. Matson, I believe that concludes your docket today. You are good to go, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Is there any paperwork that I owe you right now?
Let's see. No, because I believe with Ms. Honeycutt, due to the fact that I'm about to talk to her about her payment options, I think the court will be needing to prepare that.
Okay.
Let me think. No, only if certain offers are accepted. I know you have some offers out there.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Ms. Honeycutt, sorry to delay you. It's just a young man, and so I needed to move forward. What I'm showing, just looking at your paperwork, is that I should be ordering community service in your case.
Okay.
In lieu instead of payment. Okay. And the way that works is, and I'm just getting my calculator out to figure out the number of hours. Give me 2 seconds. But it doesn't change the deferral other than payment is through community service, and it's 14 hours. And the due date is going to be August 2nd. I have some community service information for you. Please read the instructions carefully. One of the leading causes of failing community service is just not getting really clear about what's expected. So you'll have a time sheet that keeps track of your hours. Whoever's signing for that has to be authorized by the entity. They can't be a family member, and it must be a nonprofit organization. And then we call and verify that. And so read through the directions, use the timesheet, and then I'm going to give you a list of places that are already pre-approved for that community service in the community. And I'm just looking, you're in Temple. And so, you know, in that event, you're just getting it done. If you use the list of places, those are already approved, so you won't run into problems. If you leave the list, read the list read the directions very carefully so that you don't run up against a problem. As long as you get those hours in on time and you don't reoffend or get arrested or get warrants, your case will be dismissed. Now, I'm going to need your signature on that form, that deferral order this morning. I can email it to you. You can print it, sign it, and email it back, or you can come by the court, sign it, and we'll make a copy for you.
I would probably rather email it to you. That would be okay. I can do that.
Can we email it to the email that we used to set up this meeting?
Okay.
Great. We'll email that to you here shortly, sometime this morning. If you don't find it in your inbox within the next hour or so, call and check on it, because actually I just signed it, so it should be coming your way pretty quickly.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Miss Honeycutt. You're good to go.
Thank you. You have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And moving forward, I am wanting to talk to you, Chantal Garrett. If you could unmute Miss Garrett. And good morning to you. How are you, ma'am? Sorry, let me have you unmute. There you go. Perfect.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So I do have a request for a payment plan. We're already in a community service order because I cannot see how you can do payments with the income to debt ratio, which is, you know, it happens to lots of people.
Yes, ma'am.
But we've been doing an attempt at community service for quite some time.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know that we have made any progress. Everything, last due date was April 18th. Have you been able to do any of the hours?
No, ma'am. I've been having a little difficulty as a single parent babysitting. I work at night and my boyfriend works at daytime. So I have to watch the kids during the daytime. So I don't have too much time to do community service or have a place that I can bring my child along with me. So that's my problem. It's not like I don't want to do it. It's just when I do have downtime, it slips my mind. I'm just going to be honest with you, but I know that's something that I need to do because I do need to redo my ID and I want to get this finished because it has been dragging around long. I did say a payment plan because I want to show you that I do appreciate you giving me the extensions and everything. I know it'll be a tight squeeze, but I really just want to get this behind me because I don't know too many. Actually, I don't know any community service places that will let me bring my child along. So that's the problem why it's been like ongoing for me.
Okay, this used to be easier because I had a couple of places that let people bring kids, and now
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, and you're working at Panda Express. That's not overnight, but you work the night shift. Is that what you're telling me?
Ma'am. I work from 5 to 10.
Okay, and your Mr. Tucker is the dad of your son. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So he does help with the kids, but he's working in the day and you're working at night.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all are passing off kids in the night.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
yeah, okay. I don't have, do I have, I think I have all the bills that you pay. Are
Yes,
those
ma'am.
Are those your portion of bills, or is that what y'all pay together?
That's my portion of the bills right now. He's not contributing as much because the place is in my name, so I'm doing most of the bills, so it's pretty much all mine.
Okay. So Ms. Garrett, given the totality of the circumstances, and you and I have been working on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Mostly you have been trying to prioritize it since about a year ago.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
there's been no progress. And I
Yes,
don't, it's not right for me to order payment.
Yes, ma'am.
In your case, I think you've been very forthright. I think you've given me very solid information all along.
Yes,
You've also kept up with it, even though you haven't gotten very much done.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
at this time, I'm going to waive the fines and costs and clear out your case. And so I'll be doing that today.
Yes, ma'am.
And that means that I will zero out your balance. You will not owe community service or payments.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
you are done.
Okay, thank you so much, Judge. I really appreciate your time.
If you were, you're not on probation, but I mean, you would have sailed through that. I mean, you've done everything the court could ask you to do.
Yes, ma'am.
That's been in your capacity to get done.
Yes, ma'am.
You've always checked in, and you've never tried to sort of hoodwink me on anything. So
Yes, ma'am.
I will waive your fines and costs. Sorry, just making some notes.
No, ma'am, you're fine.
All right. I'll be signing that this morning, zeroing out your balance. I believe there were some holds on your license and your ID and so forth. And
Yes, ma'am.
I'll release that probably today or later this week. And then
Yes, ma'am.
DPS does take a while to clear that in their system. I wish I could change that, but I don't have any control on that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Garrett.
May I leave the court?
You may.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
You too. Let me just sign that. And while I'm signing that, my next person is actually Justin Bartow. And Mr. Bartow, you can unmute, tell me how you're doing, and give me a couple seconds to catch up with you. Okay?
How are you?
Thank you. I'm fine. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
Okay. I do have everything that you gave me through the clerk's desk. So I did review everything. I didn't get a plea on either charge, but they're both registration charges. You've stayed on time. So one thing I want to tell you is state law doesn't provide on this type of registration charge, the two that you have. One is an expired buyer's tag, one is an improper registration. And state law doesn't provide for dismissals on those. So you've asked to provide time to provide proof, and I think maybe in hopes of a dismissal. I can do that and schedule you onto the prosecutor's dismissal consideration. But you'll have to come back into a Zoom meeting. He's left for the day, and we don't add on to him because he's got to have time to review everything. If you've registered the vehicle, and you don't need to tell me this right now, but you would come in and sign for that next date and bring in what you've got. If you haven't yet or not been able to, and you've got something you want to be considered, he's the right party to consider it, and you would bring everything so we can scan it into your files and schedule you for him to talk to you about it at the next pretrial available, which would be June 16th, here on a Zoom meeting, right? So it's online. And, you could discuss it with him because I don't have a dismissal option available to me as the judge. If I receive a request to dismiss from a prosecutor with you together, I can consider whether I sign that. And I often, most of the time I do. So that would be the process we would need to follow, Mr. Bartow, in your case, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When can you come in to sign for that next meeting?
Here in a minute.
Okay. And then just, if you have things you want looked at for that, you can bring them with you now. If you don't have them just yet, that meeting would not be till June 16th. So you could go ahead and get it all in before that date. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see you this morning for the pretrial docket. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Bartow.
Yes,
Take
ma'am.
care. We'll see you at the front desk here shortly.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great. And then Isaiah Morales. Oh, Mr. Bartow, you're good to go. I like to
Okay.
go ahead and disconnect you as a courtesy. Mr. Morales, you need to get back on screen. Hello.
Sorry,
Hi,
Miss.
Mr. Morales. Morning.
Yes,
Okay, so you are 17. I can proceed with or without an adult. The charge is walking on a roadway where the sidewalk is provided. You have entered a plea to that charge of, let me just double check, of no contest, and you've requested teen court, which I would grant. Is that your plea today at this time? No contest?
what happens if I actually guilty?
I don't know. I never been in the court.
Or what happens if I plead no contest?
I just move forward with teen court.
I guess, yeah, no contest. Yeah.
Okay, with teen court, there is a $20 fee, and I would ask, can that get paid today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then the next thing would be a life skills class due July 5th. And I believe I have, let me look at my options real quickly with the clerk. It's an online class that you would pay for. And we would give you a list of places where you could do that class. I have choices. I would look at, you could do an 8 to 10 hour class.
Your Honor, what is this class about?
It's a life skills class. It's just about decision making and choices.
Okay.
Okay. And all I have to do is 10 hours and that's it, max.
Up to 10 hours, no less than 8. There's a 10-hour option, there's an 8-hour option, and then there's the option to do 2 4-hour classes. So it's kind of, I'm going to give you a list of places and you'll pick the one that you're interested in doing. And I will accept 8 to 10, depending on which one you pick. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You'd be signing your teen court paperwork this morning and paying that $20 fee. When should we look for you?
Today we go with Temple.
Today, yeah, today.
Today, what time?
When does the DPS close, or?
We're not DPS. We're the temple.
When does the judicial court order close?
So your best bet.
You're gonna be in Temple like in the next 4 hours.
It's because I'm sorry, Your Honor, because I'm not currently in Temple right now.
Okay. When can you be here? Same
Like
time.
In about 4 hours.
Okay, so we'll look for you between 2 and 3.
Okay.
Wait, what time is it right now?
10.
It's like, let me see, 10, 11. Well, like.
Can you get here by 4?
2:30 to 3.
Yes, ma'am.
2:30 to 3.
That's fine. That'll work. Okay, we'll see you then.
All right, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it till you get here.
Can I leave? Or?
Yes, you can. So, Ms. Campos, can you unmute?
Hello?
Hi, it's Judge
Yes,
Person.
ma'am.
Hi. So,
Yes.
yeah. So I'm trying to talk to you about the matters that you have with the court. We have deferrals and we have not show cause yet. I'm just kind of trying to figure out why we didn't do it. during the deferral, which ended. Who does that? Okay. Give me just another moment for review. And was she ordered community service? What's the comment? Well, I mean, but we're supposed to, here's my question. What I'm trying to learn is, was she in a community service on that? Or was she on payments? Is she on deferrals or team? Okay, and then she had classes to do. Right, the time to turn this in was March. And you're sure we have not set any show causes on those cases? Have you done your courses?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they turned into the court? Because I don't know that I have.
Yes, ma'am.
You've turned them in and you have copies showing that they were received by us?
Yes, ma'am. I turned in my I had a life skills class to do, and then I had another one that I had turned in.
Right. One was the life skills and one was alive at 25. You had already turned that.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, these were turned in. So that one's fine. Okay, those two cases are going to go, sorry, there were three cases on the deferred. Those cases are going to the dismissal process. And let me just make a note. And then the next two cases they are for no insurance and no license. And you had requested a payment plan of $50 a month. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you've pleaded no contest on each of those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because I don't have those. Can you make a $50 payment today?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Okay. I'm going to have you come by and sign for your payment plan. And it'll be $50 today. And then each month after that, around the same time. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That should be everything. What time should we look for you this morning?
My mom doesn't get off of work until around 4, so maybe around there.
Okay. We close at 5, so you need to get here, close to 4, as close to 4 as you can get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any further questions from you?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. You're good to go. Okay. Mr. Norman, I have a new violation for rubbish, and it is from May 16th. The costs are $576. How are you pleading to that charge?
No contest.
Okay. Has anything changed since you filled out your financial paperwork with the court?
No, ma'am.
So I guess I'm wondering how, and let me get that. I guess I'm wondering how you pay bills. How do you pay your bills?
I really don't have any.
You don't eat or have lodging or have
Um,
bills?
well, I don't really have any, like a whole lot. Yeah, as far as eating, shoot, eating, a little bit of fuel that I have, auto bill insurance, everything. It fits, I think under 200, 250 a month. So,
Right. Okay. Um, so are you living with family? Is that how you don't have rent?
yes.
Okay. And how do you get the money to pay your fuel and your food?
Sometimes my folks may help me out. If not, like I said, I make a few small crafts. So um I may have a few coasters that I make and sell or a few t-shirts and pretty much hobby money. So
And how long has that been sort of how you're doing life?
um well, that itself, I would say last year and a half. Before then, I had been in my accident, and so I haven't been employed since 2017.
Okay. What kind of accident did you
Uh, I was on a motorcycle. The other person, they were in a car. It was considered a head-on collision. Um, and so I was ejected from my bike. I was hospitalized for 2 months. Took me a while to relearn to walk and get used to new mobility because I have pains in my wrists, pains in my knees, pains in my ankles, lower back pains. So it's living life is a lot differently now post accident than it was before I had an accident.
I'm just making some notes. The property in question, I guess let me look at the complaint on the new charge. I believe we're just getting recited for the same thing repeatedly.
Mhm.
What's the issue with getting it into compliance?
The issue is the expense of the tires. The ones I have left, they're semi truck tires, and they're just really expensive. Um, and then on top of that, in that neighborhood, there have been people who have dumped tires, and so just like regular car and truck tires, I've cut up those even recent dumpings. But I just think it's just for the tires are outside. It's not like other than people who dump tires, not like any new tires or new rubbish is brought to the property. It's what I've been working on getting cut down. And the amount of tires that are there, it's not even a whole lot. Cause I would say it's like maybe a quarter left of what I had when I first got there. And because I bought the property, it was through the tax sales. I didn't know it was full of tires until I actually got the keys and was able to open the doors. When I pulled all the tires out, code enforcement, they came by and they told me, hey, can you get them down to this point? States, they're coming down on their back and everything like that. And same thing, I didn't have income. All I had was at that time, my compensation for when I was in my accident. Most of it I used on the building. So when I saw the tires, I was just like, oh man, I had no idea like that was gonna be there. So I pretty much used what I had to get rid of the amount of tires I had and came and just got to a point where it kind of stalled out a little bit. And so from there, that's where I said, okay, well, at least if I can try to for myself, because going to work full time or part time right now really is an option. If I can try to make a few $100s here and there, I can slowly but surely chip away at the tires. So that's pretty much been my plan the whole time. Because what I want to do is buy and sell cars there at the property, not like a full blown dealership, but I want to start out with buying and selling cars first. So, but it's really it's the tires, and I know code enforcement because I've spoken to them a few times. Because, like I said, I want to keep an eye on people not dumping. So I'm out there in Temple I say halftime throughout the week easily. And I see code enforcement, they come by and they told me that they used to come by every 2 weeks. And then after I got to a point where I had gotten rid of so many tires, then they started coming by once a month. So, and that's pretty much where we're at right now, once a month. I think I can't remember the officer's name, but I know he said they come
Sharp.
by.
Sharp.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Sharp.
Okay. He said he comes by usually the first week of every month, and I'll see him because at first they used to come right on 14th Street and they would take photographs. But I guess since I knocked the tires, knocked so many tires out, I only have them in one section now, and so actually drive on Houston Street because the streets cross. So they drive on Houston and they'll take their photograph of the tires, how they are, and just kind of go on and be out the way.
Okay, I mean, I'm just, feeling like there's a couple of issues. One is I know I keep seeing you, and I'm sure it's not fun for you to keep having charges,
Yeah,
The
not at all.
The other is, we keep not, for whatever reason, and I know you felt like it was personal. It's really not. The guidelines I have for community service have not changed in years and years and years. And you have to be supervised. You can't be supervised by a person that you're related to. And so the most recent hours, we weren't able to approve them. And I really looked to see, is there any way to kind of stretch this and change course? But I don't get to change the rules for you. I have to make the rules be the same rules for everybody.
Okay.
And I'm sure I've frustrated you. I know I did last time.
Yeah, I when I went to take a few more hours to the the clerk, I was really surprised. And I did ask to be able to have a court date to speak to you on that.
Yeah.
Because I did see a few members of the church, for sure. Well, notably a deacon. His name is Deacon Lane, and I was wanting to know, since he's not related to me, would he be able to sign off on my hours?
Well, so I don't get involved in the church workings. What I'll tell you is the supervisor in this case of what you recently turned in said that they were related to you. Now, as far as who can sign, it's up to that church and that pastor. And I don't know how that church is governed, if they're governed entirely by their pastor, if they're governed by a board of deacons. It has to do with their nonprofit status and how they deal with that. And I don't get involved in that, but I do call and verify the hours. There's two requirements. One is supervision means actually supervising. It doesn't mean letting someone go for overnight and then saying, did you do it? So I don't know how to get over that hurdle. These hours, the person who signed for them was related to you. It kind of feels to me, my frustration is there too, along with yours, because it seems like what you're trying to do. And I'm today, you're really in a different headspace, and I'm feeling like we're connecting a little bit better. It's felt up until this moment, but now it's feeling less that way. I will tell you that, whatever I'm asking you to do, you're going to make sure you're pushing it to not do it. And, you're not coming into compliance. You're not doing your hours. And, a payment plan doesn't look realistic. My choices become very limited. I either can continue to order community service if I feel like you're operating in good faith, or I can just say, you know what, you can go to jail once I get around to it. And I'll just hold your license, and that creates a suspension, which creates a kind of double bind for you. And I'm not, you're here, you've shown up. There are plenty of people who don't bother. So, and today you're talking to me and you're really telling me what's up. So I kind of saved it to the end, not to postpone you. You were second to the end, and then Miss Campos logged in. I really needed to clear her out, and I felt like I just wanted to have a little more time with you, which is not as possible with the line ahead of you. So I wanted to visit with you and see, like, you know, I mean, I would more likely want to see this place get into compliance.
Me too. I mean, that's the main thing I want. I said this before everything went into quarantine. Best price I would see for the semi truck tires. Those are the ones that I have left. They're really large tires. They were $10 a tire. After COVID kicked off and things were kind of locked down for a while, but then after they started opening back up, it turned to $15 an hour. I mean, $15 a tire, and that was really, really pricey. But I just recently spoken to a guy. I want to say I don't even know if it's been a month. It's probably within the last 2 to 4 weeks. But he's a guy in Belton because I saw he has a lot of semi truck tires, and he told me a price of around $8 per tire. And so I was like, okay, $8 a tire, and he has a semi truck to where he can pick tires up as well. So I was like, my plan is, I mean, I know code enforcement's going to keep coming by, but I'm just like, okay, whenever I have a spare, I think it's I counted up $240. I think when I have a spare $240, that should be about 30 tires because three times 8 is 24. So doing the 80, 30 times 80, that will be 240. And I think that's what I'm gonna try to do until I get them gone. Because outside, it's I tried counting them before, but some of them are just really dilapidated. But I want to say it's somewhere around like 200 tires. So it's a lot of tires, but it's not like 1,000 tires because I had well over 1,000 beginning. But it's about 200 tires. They're just big and cumbersome. So it's just really hard to deal with because they're about 70 to 90 pounds per tire. So they're pretty tough tires to deal with.
You have a projection as to when you could maybe clear those tires?
I'm aiming to have those cleared by the end of this year. That's the plan.
That's pretty long. And then you have this
It
ongoing
is.
issue. Like, so what do you do about the ongoing issue? Because
Excuse me?
what do you know, then you're telling me that it just keeps happening.
As far as dumping,
Yeah, like how are you going to prevent that?
well, I've been out there more, and I have a camera, that I do want to put up. Only downside is, it doesn't require internet, but it does require a Wi-Fi signal. So since I don't have any utilities out there, I'm gonna have to look into another option as far as cameras go. I'm probably gonna end up going the game camera route, so that way when I'm not there, at least a game camera can take some pictures like offline and have them on an SD card.
Right. But still, I mean, is the area fenced in?
No, it's not fenced in.
Like that would be the answer.
Yeah, a fence is a nice option. I just know fencing is expensive.
I was
I
running a
have-
business though.
What's that?
I was running a business though. I mean,
Well, right
how-
now. Oh, go ahead.
how's this going to work? So you've got cars, but you don't have cars there now, but you have to buy those cars and put them on a lot and then leave them exposed to people, to vandalism and dumping. I mean, I just don't, it's your business, but I'm just trying to see if there's an answer to having a case filed on you every single month.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Like
know
all the energy that you're spending doing community service, it seems like ought to be spent cleaning up your property.
I wish you could go towards it. I really do.
I mean, I would knock a fair amount of hours down if you got into compliance quicker than a year. You know, it would need to be quick. And I've talked to you about this before. And I said, you know, if you can knock these out, and the answer you gave me was, months and months and months. But see, in the meantime, more charges get filed. So we're not getting ahead on that. We're just going backward.
Mhm.
So it would need to be quick for it to matter. And then
Yeah.
it would need to be like, you're not getting more charges filed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, desires is that's my main thing to get rid of, and the main thing I want to get rid of because that's what they're really coming by for. Because everything else is just fine. Any vehicles I have up their registration valid. I have two project trailers. One of them that actually store stuff in, like my tools and equipment, and I do like my spray painting. So those are fine. It's just those tires. And I figure if I just had I say probably about $5,000. I drive them all done in once. It'd probably be about $5,000. That I didn't have to put towards anything. That would just be, I think, just one good load to take them off. So that's why I kind of looked at it in the increments of $240 per load for the guy in Belton. So I was like, if it costs about $5,000, at least 240 can just start knocking them out. So
But it's not going to knock them out. You said they just keep dropping them.
well, not so much the semi truck tires. People they haven't dropped them as much as often because I've seen several people. I probably caught a good 3 people who have come by. Like I've seen them drop tires. I told them, hey, you got to pick those up. You got to take them, and they've taken them. But people who do dump tires, they'll be the regular car and truck tires, so they're noticeably smaller. And with those, I've recently cut some up. I'm actually gonna be doing a trash day today because I have 15 regular tires that I'm not gonna cut because they're a little bit thicker for my saw to cut. But the other ones I've cut, it's I lost count, but I would say it's easily 50 tires. But they're now 50 tires that have been cut and they're ready to be taken to the dump. So when they do bring tires, it'll be regular tires. It stinks because they're not my tires, but they're at least tires that I can cut and dispose of a lot easier than the semi truck tires, because those I can't cut and dispose of. Those I have to have somebody come and get, and they take them to a recycling center. Whereas the regular car and truck tires, you can cut those, and then you can take them to the landfill, and they'll take them as regular trash since they're cut properly.
Okay. Yeah, because this has just been like every month now. We've got one every month. January, February, March, April, May. We've got one every month. And what that does is adds like 29 hours to your community service. I'm going to go ahead and do that and continue you on, but we're back to, more hours being added and no real progress. Hold on just a moment. So hold on one. So, this was these hours, but that's labeled new today. So I think I got a clue. Yeah. Oh, that's the new. I'm sorry. Hi there. Okay, so that's taken these hours to 320 hours.
Okay.
With a new due date of August 2nd. And, you know, if you wind up getting I mean, I can email you the new timesheet.
Yes, ma'am.
And I guess, you know, if I see that you are triggering to me that you have cleaned it up, then I'm willing to, you know, go look or have code go look. I'm not sure which, but you know, you could drop me a note. And I'm not promising any specific number. I would just have to see what's up.
Yes, ma'am.
Because my thought would be that you could get this done quickly by your next time frame. And then I take off a bunch of time. And, you know, we'll extend you at that point to do the rest of the hours or maybe not get any more charges filed. It kind of depends on what happens. I'm
Yes,
open
ma'am.
to the idea, but I'm not going to tell you that I will or won't and what it will be because I would have to see it. I've seen photos of the place since you've entered, please, but I would have to see that we're not going to have more problems. Maybe not see more problems for a while.
Yeah.
So put that in your thinking cap, and maybe you could focus your energy on doing that instead, you know, but and see how that plays out, you know, before but at this point, it's 320 hours with the due date of August 2nd. We'll email you the rules with the new timesheet. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And just read it carefully. I mean, the things you're doing, I've specifically said I can't take it. And I have not made exceptions for anyone, and I'm not going to be able to just make an exception for yours. It's just the rules just have to be the same for everyone. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. Mr. Norman, we'll see you. Hopefully we won't see you anytime soon, but we'll see you.
I know, right? Hopefully we'll get to that point.
Yeah, I would like that. That would be great. Yeah.
Me too.
So I will keep my fingers crossed in hopes that maybe there's some motivation here for you.
Right. Now there is. That is a plan to just get them gone.
Yeah. Quickly, sooner than later.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.